Hey there everybody, Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of our Top 10 Songs show. Today we are going to look at my favorite 10 tracks from Scottish hard rock legends Nazareth. So a band that I've been into probably since right around 1980, 81, something like that. I think the first album I ever bought from Nazareth was the Snaz live album, which gave me kind of a sampling of some of their most well-known tracks. I love that quite a bit. Right around the same time, the 2XS album came out, so I bought that. Also then picked up Hair of the Dog and then started, getting a lot of their back catalog, specifically all those great 70s albums. So what I've done is I put together my favorites from their catalog and a wealth of honorable mentions. So sit back, get comfortable, get yourself an ice-cold beverage, and hopefully you'll enjoy this next 20 or 25 minutes or so, or however long it takes, of Nazareth classics. So just keep in mind, these guys have a million albums, right? I have all of them. Post like the 2XS album, a lot of their albums that came out in the 80s and 90s are, hit or miss. Some good songs here and there, but definitely not the best of the Nazareth catalog. So I'm going to kind of skip a lot of those albums that came out in the 80s and 90s. I'm going to touch on some of the last couple albums, all right? Although not the most recent, up until Dan McCafferty retired from the band, because I thought that last album they put out with the new singer, not too much into that. But the last couple they released with Dan were actually very good. So let's dive into my top 10, shall we? So I don't do this too often, all right? I think you know what I'm going to say here. But coming in at number 10, I've got a tie because I just could not see myself leaving either of these two tracks off. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Sea of Tranquility get out of jail free card, right? And I'm going to kind of do a tie for number 10. So number 10, the two songs at number 10. The first one, kind of like a little outlier here. Maybe a song that doesn't quite fit in with the rest of these tunes. It's one of their minor pop hits. It's from the 2XS album, but it's a tune that I loved a lot. I still like it a lot, and I just think it's so catchy, so memorable. It was played on the radio back in the day on FM radio. They had an MTV video as well. I'm talking about Love Leads to Madness. I just love the hook in that tune, and I just think it's a really well-crafted song that, for my money, should have been huge. I never understood why it wasn't for the band. Like I said, a minor hit, but for my money, I think it's as good as Love Hurts, right, as far as like a Nazareth pop tune. But, what are you going to do? Didn't quite make it, but I still love it. Tying for number 10. Probably a tune some of you may not have heard from before. It's a song that was not featured on any studio album. It was released as a single or B-side. We're talking about Hard Livin' from the Razzmanazz album era. Okay? A bruising, killer, heavy blues rock tune. It's just got this great Brontosaurus riff from Manny Charlton. Really, really great song. It's a heavy tune. Then you got McCafferty screeching up to the heavens. If you've never heard Hard Livin' by Nazareth, open up a browser window, put me on pause, and listen to it on YouTube. It's awesome. Really, really good. So coming in at number 9, we're going to go to the Expect No Mercy album. All right, an album I like a lot. Here's the shirt I'm wearing today. New York Broken Toy. One of the unsung classics of their catalog, I always thought. And a song that sounds very Thin Lizzy-ish to my ears. I always thought so. Again, Nazareth and Lizzy were both kind of really breaking at right around the same time. And I listened to some of the arrangements and some of the guitar work and the riffs in that New York Broken Toy. I'm like, man, that kind of could have been something off of a Thin Lizzy album, right? Obviously different vocalist, but pretty cool stuff. Coming in at number 8 from the Razzmanazz album, which might be my favorite Nazareth album. It's hard to say. I've got like 3 that I really love a lot. And Razzmanazz is like top to bottom pretty damn strong, I think. And the tune that's coming in at number 8 for me is Alcatraz. Great guitar licks on that from Manny. And it's just a good, heavy tune. Kind of got a little funky feel in there as well, but it's just a real successful hard rocker for me, and I like Dan's real kind of devilish vocals on there. Good stuff. We're going to stay on the Razzmanazz album for a couple here, all right? So bear with me. The next one, kind of like a slow builder, kind of doomy, right? Keeps building and building, and at the end you got these heavy riffs coming in. and Dan's just demonic wailing, right? I'm talking about sold my soul to the devil. It's awesome, right? That's like probably, they didn't do a lot of tunes like that, but that's just a real kind of just lethal, doomy, moody, like I said, demonic before. I just love the way it builds at the end. He just starts screaming up a storm. Awesome stuff. All right, sticking on Razzamanaz. How about the title track coming in at number 6? Gotta love that song, right? That's just a good, fast-paced, heavy rocker. One of most like loyal fans of the band. Always one of the favorites. I always like Razzamanaz. I love the chorus. It's just catchy as all hell, but it's a heavy rocker. So that comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5, another title track to probably their best known and best selling album, Hair of the Dog. Now you're messing with a son of a bitch, right? I always dig that song. Really, really good one. And I know it's a favorite from a lot of people. Some of you are probably wondering, geez, how is that not like higher up on your list? Well, because there's other songs I like better. But that's a great tune. It's coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we're going to go back to the Expect No Mercy album, another title track. Well, we got 3 title tracks in a row. Expect No Mercy. That's a great tune. Always been one of my Nazareth favorites. I love the kind of shuffling rhythms there and the intricate guitar work. And, again, Dan just kind of laying down that raspy, throaty, gravelly roar of his. What a great tune. Great tune. And I love the little guitar intro, it's just a great, great tune. Comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we're going to go all the way back to the first album. A really underrated album and a pretty damn heavy blues rock album. And the song that's coming at number 3 for me is the kickoff track on there, Witch Doctor Woman. Another heavy, bruising blues rock ripper with some killer heavy riffs from Manny. There's a lot of really good tunes on their first album. And what's funny is, the first album is like so heavy. It's like for the time, a really, really heavy hard rock and blues album. And then their second album just like totally went about face, and it was like mostly acoustic and kind of countryish and folky. And I was like, what the hell happened here? And the transition, right? Just didn't work. But Witch Doctor Woman, great beefy riffs on that. Again, another tune. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. Trust me. Coming in at number 2, On Any Given Day could be my number 1. I just think it's a brilliant song for them. It was kind of like one of their like multi-part epics, although the song itself is not that long. I think it's like 7 minutes and change, but it goes through all these different kind of changes and different passages and different styles, and it's just such a cool tune lyrically. Talks a lot about the life of the band on the road, but I love the riffing in that song. I love the vocals and everything about it. We're talking about Telegram, okay? From Close Enough for Rock and Roll. Sent a telegram today. Tomorrow you'll be on your way. It's awesome song. Whenever I listen to it, I get chills. I love it so much. It's just really, really good. If you can go catch some live clips of them doing it, really, really good. So number 1, probably, if not it's in the top 2 or 3 heaviest songs the band ever recorded. It's going back to the Hair of the Dog album, which, the Hair of the Dog album probably has a couple of their, like, almost best tracks, right? And some of their heaviest material. And this one especially. Again, another just kind of like Brontosaurus riff from Manny Charlton. And that, swallowed glass and sang afterwards vocals from Dan. Miss Misery. I mean, dun, 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 dun. It could have been like a Budgie or a Sabbath tune, man. It's how heavy it is. Awesome song. Again, I like a lot of their heavier material, but they had a lot of great, more mellow stuff and some great pop things, some great bluesy, funky boogie tunes. But I like a lot of the really heavy stuff from Nazareth, and there's so much of it. So let's take a look at some of my honorable mentions, because, there's a lot of tunes here that kind of pain me to leave off this list. Some of you are probably wondering, Jesus, he didn't put any No Mean City songs in his top 10. I know I didn't. I love the album. I just think that, they have stronger songs, although No Mean City is a very strong album. But I think there are standout tracks that are top 10 worthy that just don't happen to be on the album, in my opinion. So go back to the first album. That really good heavy blues rock album. Dear John, Empty Arms, Empty Heart is awesome. That sits right on the periphery of my top 10. Red Light Lady, also a great heavy rocker. Fat Man, Morning Dew. They do a great version of Morning Dew. Okay, from the Exercises album, which I just said before, I'm not a big fan of. It's really mellow, very folky, and kind of almost like Scottish country-ish, if that is a term. But a couple good tunes. Called Her Name is a good song. And the 1692 Glencoe Massacre, I kind of like. That's real kind of like spooky and what have you. Although not very heavy, but a cool track. From Razamanaz, again, like I mentioned, I love the Razamanaz album. Woke Up This Morning. Great kind of blues rocker, right? A lot of people dig that song. Night Woman, great hard rocker. Bad Bad Boy, okay, that's got a good kind of like boogie feel. Too Bad, Too Sad. I'm a big fan of that one. Broken Down Angel, okay. And another kind of B-side from that period to go along with Hard Living was the song Spinning Top. Another great heavy rocker. Really good stuff from that Razamanaz period. And they can kind of continue on the next couple albums. So Loud and Proud, another very strong album. Go Down Fighting, good fast-paced hard rocker. Not Faking It, great tune, great chorus and hook on that one. Freewheeler, This Flight Tonight, probably one of their most memorable of their early cover tracks, okay, which is an old folk tune by Joni Mitchell. And they do a very good job on it. It's even better live, I think. From Child in the Sun. I mean, not from Child in the Sun. Child in the Sun, another great rocker. And The Ballad of Hollis Brown. Okay. Really good stuff. And you know what? This Flight Tonight, that's not Joni Mitchell. That's Joan Baez, if I'm not correct, right? I think it's Joan Baez. Which folk singer was that? You guys, I'm sure one of you guys know. This Flight Tonight, is that Joan Baez or Joni Mitchell? I don't remember. One of the two. I know it's one of the two. From Rampant, kind of an underrated album in their catalog no one talks about much. How about Silver Dollar Forgers, Parts 1 and 2? Good fast-paced rocker. Glad When You're Gone. Loved and Lost. Great tune. Shanghaied and Shanghai. All right. Light My Way and Shapes of Things / Space Safari. Another kind of little medley tune with, of course, a cover of Shapes of Things by the Yardbirds. From Hair of the Dog, Change in Times, which is an awesome song and sits immediately outside my top 10. That's probably my number 11 song, or number 12 if you're looking at my tie for 10. But Change in Times is another brutal heavy rocker from the band. Their cover of Beggar's Day, Rose and the Heather, another good cover tune from the band. Whiskey Drinking Woman, good blues boogie rocker. Please Don't Judas Me. That's awesome, right? Love Hurts, of course. I got to give credit to Love Hurts. And a B-side from that album period, Railroad Boy, which I like a lot. Another good bluesy hard rocker. From Close Enough for Rock and Roll, how about Born Under the Wrong Sign? Not the bad sign, the wrong sign. Loretta, Carry Out Feelings, kind of like a bluesy ballad for them. Left the Lid, another good track. You're the Violin, love that tune. That's really good, very underrated song. And then a single from that period, My White Bicycle, kind of silly, but I always dug it. From Playing the Game, how about Somebody to Roll, all right? Down Home Girl, Born to Love, I Want to Do Everything for You, but that's all that a man can do when you love somebody like I love you and I love you. Why am I singing? Jesus, I don't know. Don't know, guys. I'm getting caught up in the moment. Also, another B-side, Good Love. Okay? From Expect No Mercy. Big fan of Expect No Mercy. Again, I talked earlier about like my 3 favorite Nazareth albums. Expect No Mercy, Hair of the Dog, and Razamanaz. Probably my top 3. No Mean City sits right outside. There's a lot of really great albums here. So from Expect No Mercy, Shot Me Down, Revenge is Sweet. Revenge is Sweet is a great song. Another sit right outside my top 10 tune. Gimme What's Mine, another heavy rock tune from that album that also ranks right up there for me. Kentucky Fried Blues, good kind of crunchy blues rocker. All the King's Horses, another great tune. Another song that probably should have been a hit for the band. And that I really like a lot. Very kind of like soaring anthem. And then another B-side. I think these guys had a lot of cool like B-sides and singles and things like that. The song Greens, right? Great tune. From No Mean City, How about the kickoff track just to get into it? That's a snarling rocker right there. I love May the Sunshine. Another kind of like folky pop rocker that just really, really works. Catchy as all hell. Simple Solution, parts 1 and 2. Great, great heavy rocker there. I love Star. Star is another song that should have been a massive hit for them, I think. What a hook in that. It's just a real good emotional pop rocker. Really, really dig it a lot. And how about the heavy claim to fame, right? Some bruising riffing in that song, right? All right, so here's what kind of things, start to, change for the band. I think after No Mean City, that was kind of their last gasp in the like heavy rock, hard rock, and proto metal type of genre, and they decided, it's probably time to go sell some singles and go a little more commercial and hopefully get more album sales. Right? Yeah, it kind of didn't work for the band that way, but a couple of decent albums. Malice in Wonderland, decent for what it is, but a pretty light-hearted album, I think. But it's got Holiday. Holiday's a great tune. And Talking to One of the Boys, I always liked. From the Fool Circle, I'm not big on that album. There's some couple decent tracks, but the only one I really, really like is Pop the Silo, and that's a really good tune. That's probably the hardest rocking song on from that album or the Malice in Wonderland album. Then you got 2XS, again, more kind of poppy stuff, but it's got Love Leads to Madness, which I dig quite a bit. And then Back to the Trenches, which is a really good, probably the only heavy rocker on that album. Really good tune. From Sound Elixir, again, they're really trying to break big in America. You had the single Where Are You Now, which I like, right? Again, I don't think the record company, I think they were on A&M Records at the time here in the States, I don't think they really knew how to market Nazareth because they didn't have the look, right? They were kind of considered an old band at the time. But Where Are You Now is a good hook to that song. It's a cool ballad. Whippin' Boy is a good kind of like up-tempo rocker. All right, then I'm going to fast forward because there's a lot, you got Cinema and God, Snakes and Ladders and all sorts of other albums that come out after Sound Elixir all the way up into the mid-2000s. And, they're real hit and miss. A lot of kind of real commercial type stuff. Not a lot of heavy stuff going on in any of those. I have them all just because I'm a completist. I honestly don't listen to those hardly at all. But, a couple good tracks here and there, but I figured why waste the time? Let's just get to some of the latter stuff, right? Because I think Big Dogs, which came out, what was that, 2006? I don't know, something like that, has some really good tunes on it. Big Dog's Gonna Howl, I like a lot. Claimed is a really cool heavy rocker, and the song Radio is really, really catchy. Love that tune a lot. Really good kind of hard rock, like poppy hard rock tune. Big Dogs, very solid album. From Rock and Roll Telephone, which is the album that came after, the last album that Dan McCafferty sings on before he retired. A very strong album too. Boom Bang Bang is great. One Set of Bones, I like a lot. Back to Before, another really, really good tune. Punch a Hole in the Sky, and God of the Mountains. God of the Mountains is a great tune. That kind of reminds me of some of their really old stuff. So a lot of really strong stuff in the Nazareth catalog. Granted, the majority of it is from 1970 to 80, 81 or so. But if you haven't really listened, if you like all those really old albums and you haven't kind of gotten back into Nazareth in recent years, definitely check out the last two albums with Dan on vocals, which is Big Dogs and Rock and Roll Telephone. Well worth having, and at least well worth checking out and hearing. Let me know what you think. Like I said, they've got a brand new singer now. They put out a new album last year. I didn't really dig it a lot. To me, it just doesn't sound like a Nazareth album. The only original member you got is Pete Agnew on bass, right? Yeah, that's it. And you got the guitar player, Jimmy Morrow. I forget his name. He's been in the band for like 15, 20 years. But it's just, the new singer doesn't sound anything like Dan, right? So you got to toy. He's good, but I just don't, the songs themselves just don't sound like Nazareth songs to me. Even the songwriting and everything like that. So it just didn't click with me at all. And you know me. I always like to give bands a chance as they've gotten older, as they change members. Members die, they replace them. Members leave, they replace them. In a lot of instances, many of these bands try to keep the kind of the style of the band intact, even with all these new members. I just didn't feel their most recent album sounded like a Nazareth album. So it's not a bad album. It just doesn't really do a hell of a lot for me. It's a rare instance because I usually embrace, this type of situation with a lot of the bands that I kind of grew up with. But whatever, it is what it is, right? So you can't like everything. So let's go back over my top 10. Coming in at number 1, Miss Misery. Coming in at number 2, Telegram. Coming in at number 3, Witch Doctor Woman. Coming in at number 4, Expect No Mercy. Number 5, Hair of the Dog. Number 6, Razzmanazz. Number 7, Sold My Soul. Number 8, Alcatraz. Number 9, New York Broken Toy. And a tie for number 10, Love Leads to Madness with Hard Livin'. All right, that's my top 10 for Nazareth, a great, great band who, if you're someone who's come to this channel, or someone who's been following my channel, like, God, I never listened to Nazareth before. This guy's really talking great about him. Well, yeah, they deserve it. Go and investigate these songs, right, and see what you think. If you're a hard rock fan and you just have never kind of exposed yourself to Nazareth, I think you'll dig a lot of these tunes. So they're great, a lot of great albums. And good luck. Enjoy. And while you're at it, visit us on the web at www.catranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, here on the mighty YouTube as often as possible. Going to be taking a break for a couple days, heading upstate to Lake George with the family for a couple days of R&R, but we'll be back next week with more programming, and we will see you then. All right, guys? So take care. Visit us on Facebook, visit us on Twitter, and go check out our playlist, all right? Get a lot of people asking, Pete, have you done a show with this? Pete, have you done a show on this? Guys, I put up the playlist functionality for a reason, so you can find stuff easier. If you like these top 10 songs format, instead of constantly asking me questions, hey, have you done this band, have you done this band, go to the top 10 songs playlist and see what we got there. We got a whole bunch of them, all right? Or whatever format you like on this channel. Go investigate. Go look at the old videos. We got a lot of fun stuff there. So check them out, enjoy them, and we'll see you real soon, all right? Bye-bye.